And have you taken some of those lines from Tango Unchained and brought them into your gaming sessions with your 16-year-old son? Do you use
No, not at all.
Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watcher Pass. Today I'm talking to Trey Chaney, who plays Tango Unchained in We Need to Talk, which is already out. It came out on May 13th, 2022 on digital. We're going to talk to him right now. And while you're watching, if you could like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I'll spend a lot. Thank you. So thanks so much for joining me. This is Trey Chaney, who plays Tango Unchained in We Need to Talk, which is already out. It came out on May 13th, 2022 on digital. It is a rom-com with video game and live streaming aspects. I liked it a lot. It had a fun story, had a lot of video game references, and thanks so much for joining me. I guess, I think we need to talk right now. We need to talk.
Yeah, man, I'm honored, man. And I'm so happy that the fans and the supporters are able to see We Need to Talk. Like you mentioned, it invites everybody into this world of video gaming. And for me, playing Tango Unchained was amazing. Todd Wolfe, the writer and the director and producer, we go back, I want to say, at least 12 years. Our first film that we did together was a film called Streets, and it was starring Meek Mill. And we always kept in contact for like the last 12 years. And when he presented me with this opportunity, he said, man, we need to talk. It's a rom-com. It's drama. It's a funny film, but you'll be playing a video gamer. And I was like, well, I'm not a video gamer. I'm an actor, but I can go into, learning everything that I have to learn. But just to fast forward a little bit, now I'm playing Call of Duty. My son is 16. So I became a video gamer, I want to say, after I shot this film. But playing Tango Unchained and We Need to Talk. Tango, he lives at home with his mom. He's a grown man, still doing chores, getting an allowance. He's
doing work and getting paid, right? That's what he said.
Yeah, he's friends with Great Scott Gamer, who's played by the amazing, talented James Maslow, who's also a friend of mine. And the film We Need to Talk, it revolves around James's character being this famous YouTube gamer. And for me, it really covers having a balance. When we spend so much time, we might spend so much time playing video games until we forget that we're not spending enough time with the people who love us, our family, our friends, our mates. And it just covers such an amazing message. I always look at this message for our young people, saying, it's like I said, it's a time and a place. We can't spend so much time on a video game. We can't spend so much time on social media until we start looking at the likes on social media to validate who we are as people. It is another world. It is used for business, but at the same time, we can't take things so personal until we neglect, spending time with our true loved ones. So, for me, like I said, man, I love the film. As the fans, they're loving it. We just did the premieres in Philly over the weekend, and people were in there just going crazy, laughing, and it also has some heart to it. It got some drama parts in it.
Yep.
When Great Scott everything is falling down on him. People are unsubscribing, and he's having those moments. And him, and his girlfriend Allie, who's played by the amazing Khalil. They have a moment when, they're outside and you can see the backdrop of Philly. And it's a serious moment where Scott really has to decide what's more important. Is it getting my subscribers back, or, the love of my life is here telling me what's wrong and I'm not seeing it because he's been used to a certain type of behavior for 10 years. So it's like I said, man, I have fun watching it with the audience. That was my fun moments.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you're able to experience it. It's weird. I got a different story from it. My view of it was it's this YouTube Twitch god, this absolute hero who is out there trying to, become the greatest, and then all this family drama gets in the way of him actually achieving Twitch greatness.
Yeah.
I liked that it had that balance, right? There is, as you say, there's a social media bubble. There's a certain amount of like endorphins that come from having interactions on social media. It's kind of designed that way. And there
Right.
is this fear or this kind of valley that you can get into where you're just, that is what you're kind of craving, especially in the last few years when we haven't really had much social in-person interaction. Like that sometimes is people's only validation throughout the day. And that can definitely become an addiction. That can definitely become something that you spend too much time on.
Yeah, that's true, man. And I had fun also, bringing this story to life with my other cast members, Jonathan Fernandez, Emily Bett Rickards, and like I said, Christel Khalil, along with James Maslow. The vibe on set with Todd Wolfe and all of the producers and the creators, it was just exactly what I said. It was a vibe, and we were all just hanging out. We were all chilling. We all became family. Everybody still keeps in contact even after the movie was shot. And just to see, like I said, how it's being well received that lets us know that, yeah, we may have played around, had fun on set, but when it was time to work, we showed up and we put our all into it. We gave it all of our efforts, man. And now, We Need to Talk out on all digital platforms as of now. It came out on May 13th and everybody's just watching it. And that's what we want. We want people to watch it and be inspired by the message, and also invite people into the video gaming world like it did for me. Because like I said, before then, I was a little familiar with video games. I'm talking about from back in the day when I was playing Atari and Sega Genesis and stuff like that. That's what I was on. But, of course, years later, you got the Xbox, the PlayStations, and now it's the Call of Duties, the Grand Theft Autos, those type of games, Madden, Mortal Kombat. And I have a 16-year-old. So it's funny because once he said, Dad, you're in a movie with James Maslow, a video gaming movie. Oh yeah, I need to teach you some skills. And I'm like, yeah, you do, because I need to learn. Todd Wolfe, though, the director and writer and producer, he was very hands-on with me on the different ways of playing the game, and just certain things that he was like spot on with it that really helped me, bring this character Tango Unchained to life.
I like to think that your son was like, you play video games? And you're like, oh, do I play video games? And then you just like went in and just wiped the floor with him, just teabagging him the entire time.
yeah, man. I wish I could think that way, but of course we know that was not the case, right?
It is definitely an acquired skill. You mentioned the filming of this, and one thing I was wondering, because everything feels remote, right? You have people playing with players from all over the world. Yeah. Was this all filmed in like one set or a couple sets? Were you all on set together, or was this something that you kind of filmed your shots and then they used movie magic to kind of put it all together into one sequence?
You hit it right on the nose. It was my scenes were filmed in one location. A lot of the scenes were one location. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, half of the film was shot in James Maslow's his area where he was at in the house. Okay. Or the apartment. And then they had that axe throwing scene where they were there, and that, so everything was scattered out. I mean, I did get a chance to hang out with James on one of his scenes. I was just there. I was in town in it because it was my turn to film. Mm-hmm. But as far as, we were just meeting the cast on like Zoom and doing like interviews together leading up to this point and doing table reads and stuff of that nature. And that's pretty much how it was. And like I said, I was afraid of that. When I was filming, I was like, well, I'm looking at this screen. I got to play this game. And Todd Wolfe was actually feeding all of us the lines from other characters. So he was playing he was playing every character. And, the way we were responding, you see it as we're responding to each other. We were responding to Todd, though. I mean, he wrote it. He knows the film from top to bottom, right? Yeah. But it was amazing, man. I mean, just the way it all came together. Because, as an actor, you're like, well, if I'm doing it this way, I wonder how this is going to come out when this is, Yep. And it just gelled together so well. And I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand your concern, right? There's a certain amount of chemistry that you get when you're like actually, bantering back and forth and like hearing how they say it. And I'm sure Todd Wolfe did a great job, but there, he might not get the intonation the same way, and then it might not stitch together well. But that's awesome to hear that, everything worked out. Everything, it did feel very seamless when you're watching it. Like you all were talking, together in some sort of setup. So that is some movie magic right there.
Most definitely.
And I want to know, like, how did you get involved? I imagine the audition process for this was like all the potential Tango Unchained just dropped into like a battle royale, like a PUBG. You all got in there, you duked it out, and whoever was the last one standing, that was the Tango Unchained. Is that basically what it was like? Is that kind of how it happened?
Well, what's so funny, man? Todd actually wrote Tango Unchained for me.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't an audition process. It was, I wrote this character for you. And some people always ask the similarities with Tango. Well, the similarities is, every now and then you can catch Trey Chaney talking junk to his friends and, going back and forth on Zoom or
as one does.
whatever. But the difference is I'm not living at home with my mother doing chores and getting an allowance, So that was a big difference in just locking into Tango. I felt like a lot of people thought that some of my work in this film was ad-libbed, but Todd wrote it so perfect until the lines just flowed. And the stuff that I was saying was what I probably really would have said to that young 12-year-old, that I was going back and forth with the whole time, Cal.
Yeah.
And man, it just, when something comes together, like in this business, when something comes together and it's just good, and it's great, I don't think we see it that far in advance. But once I watched the film, I said, I was Tango, and now I understand what Todd Wolfe meant when he said, I wrote this for you. And I was like, all right, this guy's been knowing me for 12 years. So he knew, so I commend him on that. And then, I just wanted to show up and I wanted to make the people laugh, man. And I wanted to really just give my all to this character.
Yeah, and I was actually going to ask about that. I was going to ask, like, how much of the conversation was ad-lib, how much of it was written, and that's amazing that he knows you so well and that he's such a good writer that it just kind of, you didn't even need to change it because it was just like your personality. That's that
was the case. A lot of my stuff, it just wasn't ad-lib. It was off the paper. But the way that, as an actor, the way that we flow with words and the way that the dialogue comes off, I put my own twist on how I would have said it, but it was just, it was Todd's words, and thinking back, I'm like, this guy has a crazy mind. He's writing he's cursing his kid out. And I'm like, you know what? I would have cursed him out too. But it was dope.
And have you taken some of those lines from Tango Unchained and brought them into your gaming sessions with your 16-year-old son? Do you use
No, not at all.
Like I raised him right. He knows what to do.
Right.
Exactly.
That's true.
And you mentioned that you weren't a video gamer before, and like, this kind of forced you to kind of learn the culture. Did you have any kind of prep sessions? Did you play games with other people, other cast members to get into this mindset in this world beforehand?
Call of Duty. When I found out I was really getting ready to, this was happening and I was playing this character, of course, I sat with my son. I sat with a couple of my family members, like my cousins and stuff, who play video games all the time, and just learning basic stuff. It wasn't like, okay, I'm getting ready to be the best video gamer in the world. I'm like, because a lot of my time, which I'm very fortunate to say this, I don't have a lot of time to sit and play video games. I'm like, I'm at work, I'm on set 12 hours a day. Like, I'm like, I got other things that I'm doing, but learning the basics of, who I was going to be portraying and how to actually play some of these games. I was like, I did get some research. I did get some research with that.
Well, and now you have to stay up to date just in case there's we need to talk too, right? You have to keep playing video games, make sure.
Most definitely. And that's being talked about. Nice. We're actually talking about it. We want millions of people to go and watch this movie today, and so we can do a part 2 or a TV show.
Yeah, definitely, like a part 2 or a TV show, or even, I don't know, do they have like YouTube? They probably have YouTube shows, or Twitch probably has shows. That this
exactly
is the perfect kind of meld right there.
Yeah, I agree, man.
And so one of the things I liked about this film also was that there was some great merch, like the Great Scott shirts and stickers
Yeah,
like that. Did y'all get to keep any of that? Is that did
yeah.
you get any party gifts?
We actually got the Great Scott pins, and Todd right now is putting together the shirts, and I mean, yeah, we did get to keep some of the stuff. Yeah, we did.
And did you keep any like video game memorabilia? Do you have anything in your house now with like I don't know, a Call of Duty statue or like an Xbox controller or something?
Yeah, I do got the Xbox. I do got the Xbox. Yeah, and it's funny because I never get to see it because my son, he has it. Yeah,
That's unfortunate. And with the supply issues, you might never see another one, right?
exactly.
Awesome. And yeah, so you mentioned also that you saw it, the premiere in person in
Mhm.
Philly. Like it must have been cool. What was that like? Did people recognize you? Was it just kind of fun to just be in an audience and hear their reactions to like things that you were saying and things that were happening on the screen? What was that situation
Yeah,
like?
it was amazing, man, because not only did they recognize me from just We Need to Talk or, my other series, The Wire, We Own the City on HBO,
Oh, The
they,
Wire. That's a small independent series, right?
yeah, I know, right? One of the most groundbreaking, critically acclaimed small shows of all time. Yeah, man. So that was dope for people to just, recognize that type of work that I did, but saying, wow, so you played a video gamer this time and it was something totally different. So, feeling the love from the fans and the supporters, that never gets old, and some of the key scenes for me, when I say that, Scotch girls in those streets and, I get paid for chores and stuff like that. To hear the audience laugh and, really say, man, you crushed that role. You did that. It just, as an actor, it makes you feel like, okay, I'm glad that they're talking about this in a positive way. Because they could have been like, man, you were trash in that movie. Like you didn't do good at all.
Yeah.
So you always want to hear the feedback, on what you did. And I got some great feedback.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's always a risk too, right? They can be like, well, that doesn't sound like natural or whatever, but that's awesome that everyone kind of responded correctly and like that.
Yeah,
Todd Wolfe wrote it so well that it kind of flowed and didn't seem like there was any sort of awkward conversation in there.
right. That's true.
Awesome. So I know we have limited time. I'll switch to, I call it the lightning round. They're just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map to things that happen in the film. A lot of them are about video games, so there might not be many great answers from you.
Yeah.
Let's check it out. So the first question was going to be console or PC, but it sounds like you're a console gamer.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And so what was your first video game? It sounds like you played games a while ago and then kind of took a hiatus.
What was my first video game? I want to say it was Madden, one of the Madden football games.
But what about Atari? Did you played like Atari games back in the days, or was that did you go that after you started playing like Madden and whatnot?
Yeah, I want to say with Atari, what was it, Super Mario Brothers or something? That was like my first kind of game.
Okay, that's Nintendo.
Well, yeah, Nintendo then. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that was like my first experiences.
I think that was probably like everyone's first experience. My first like real, I had like an Atari that I played some simple games with. My first like real like, oh my god, this is an amazing experience was Super Mario on Nintendo. So I think that's probably
Oh wow,
a
yeah.
very normal
I think
reaction.
I brought back up a throwback then. Yeah,
There
so
you go.
that's good.
There you
Yeah.
go. What was your first shooter? Was it Call of Duty, or was there one that you played before to kind of build up to Call of Duty?
No, I was Call of Duty,
All right,
and I'm
that's
not,
a lot.
and I'm not all that great. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have no build up to Call of Duty. It's like they threw me in a field.
You know what? But I bet you got some really great trash talk now. So even if you're not winning, you're at least winning like the social interactions, right?
Right. That's true.
What is your favorite video game? Doesn't have to be one you're playing now, like any of all time, maybe.
Man, I love Mortal Kombat.
That's a good one. That's a
I love
classic.
Mortal Kombat. That's my favorite of all time.
And do you have like a regular gaming crew? It sounds like maybe it's just your son or maybe some other people. Maybe you play with the cast occasionally. I don't know.
Well, we're getting ready to start, doing that with the cast. Like we're getting ready to really like dive into playing with the cast so we can start playing with other people. But for now, I would have to say my son.
That is a good like, I don't know, wingman, a good like gaming buddy. That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Um, Do you have so a lot of this movie is about Great Scott? I don't know if he's ever met these people in real life, but there's these like his regular kind of social crew that he has online. Do you have any friends that you have like never met in person? Maybe that you just only met them online or through I don't know online forums or Discord or something like that.
Yes.
All right.
Two members that's on my team right now, I've never met them in person. We've only met online, and we handle business together. Like they do my posters, they do my flyers, they do my videography, my YouTube channel, like that. But these guys are about business. Like I connected with them for similarities that we have. We all have, we all have wives, kids, and I mean, so it's almost like when you meet somebody online and you getting to know this person, and with the similarities, then it comes out, hey, I do this and I see that you do this. Maybe I can be of some type of assistance with this. And, and that's how it starts. And I'm talking about for the last maybe 5 years. It's some people that I've never met in person, but we do business.
That's awesome. And how are they on Call of Duty? Like, are they helpful or hurtful to your team?
They're helpful. They're better than me. So yeah, anybody that's on my team that's playing the game, they're way better than me. So I'm happy and thankful for that. Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, yeah, there are definitely people that you've never, either people I've talked to that I've never met in person. And like, sometimes you meet in person, it's good. Sometimes you meet in person, like, oh, that like, I don't know, something's not right there. So
yeah, that's true.
Have you ever been axe throwing?
Axe throwing? No, I haven't. No, I have not.
Y'all didn't get to like do a session after the filming, or were you not? Maybe you weren't in that scene.
I wasn't even there that day. I wish I was there because it looked like fun on camera, but I know it's probably fun in real life, right?
I bet it's a lot of fun. I bet it looks really great, but I know I would get there, I would just throw it and it would just like bounce off the target. And I was like, I would get frustrated.
And hit you back, right?
Yeah, exactly. When was the last awkward conversation you had? This film deals a lot with an awkward conversation that is meaning to happen. When was the last awkward conversation you actually had to participate in?
An awkward conversation. I want to say with some cast members, and it was awkward because I didn't know that we were actually shooting the next day. So I was already speaking about like weeks to come. I'm like, yeah, in the next couple of weeks, this is gonna be, and everybody was looking at me real funny. And I was like, what? And they're like, you mean tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, I did not know. So it was very awkward. It was very embarrassing. And it was just that.
You're like emailing your team, you're like, I need a haircut. I need like
yeah, I gotta do everything I got to do everything at 7 o'clock before everything. Well, while everything is closed. And
yeah, exactly. This film has Great Scott kind of trying to track down Ali through his like Find My Friends on his phone. Have you ever had to track someone down through like Find My Friends, or ever like had to meet up someone and they like sent you a pin of where they were?
That's happened before, and I want to say it's happened with my sister. We were trying to track her down because we hadn't heard from her all day. And this was back then. And yeah, we finally tracked her down. She did send like a location to where she wanted everybody to meet up at. Yeah, that did happen to me before.
Okay, that sounds like it could have ended poorly, but it sounded like it ended fine. Maybe it was like a surprise.
No, it ended good because it was a surprise. I think she was trying to surprise one of my parents, and she didn't really want everybody like knowing, hey, this is where I'm going to be. Bring them here, type of deal. And yeah, that was awkward too. I would say awkward. Another awkward in trying to find somebody moment.
Yeah, for sure. Because you just like if they're not responding, you're like you don't know what's happening, and you're like, am I getting too worried about this, or is this like normal? Yeah, exactly. So in the film, Great Scott, in a fit of rage, breaks one of his gaming objects. Have you ever like broken a controller? I don't think so. It seems like you're a pretty chill person, but I don't know. Maybe online you like have a different persona.
Yeah, man. I never broke a controller. Nah, not at all.
I've gotten very, very close to it in one game. I was very close to rage breaking
to throwing it and breaking it. Yeah. And I mean, but you got to think about too with that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes from We Need to Talk, because that's the scene where everything is falling, like it's collapsing on him, and people are unsubscribing, and the amount of anxiety that he's facing in that scene, I'm like, man, I'm glad that, you know, that's a scene that people need to pay attention to, because that could happen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a full-on downward spiral. Like everything is happening to him at
Yeah,
that moment.
everything at one time.
Yeah, and then he essentially destroys his livelihood, which is not a good move for him.
That's true.
Have you ever had dino nuggets?
Dino nuggets. Yeah.
Awesome. They are good. And your character in this film travels a very long distance to meet someone. Have you ever had to travel like a really long distance to meet, like, I don't know, a friend or a significant other, anything like that?
Not somebody that I did not know, only just from a game. Nah.
Okay.
No, I mean, because they end up hooking up. They're like together now. Tango Unchained and Ladyfingers. They're together. They met online and they're together. So that never has happened to me before.
Excellent. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Actually, it sounds like maybe not.
Yeah.
And the last question is, without revealing it, because I don't want you to like publicly say your gamer tag, but you know, there is a conversation about people's gamer tags and their first gamer tag and changing that later. I think actually, yeah, your character changes their gamer tag in the film, or like talks about how he changed his gamer tag early on.
Yeah.
Do you like your gamer tag? Are you happy with your personal gamer tag?
Yeah, I am.
Perfect. All right. And so, like you said, the film is out. It's out now, May 13th, 2022. It's out digitally. It sounds like there was a premiere in Philly that might be playing in theaters near you. You can check that out. Or if you don't want to, you can watch it in the comfort of your own home, maybe in your video game basement, wherever you want. The film is out. You're promoting it right now. But after this film is out, what can people look for? What do you have next? It sounds like you have plenty of projects coming up. So what else can people look for you?
Well, we own this city. It's a HBO Max project. I play a police officer, Gordon Hall. It's an amazing project on HBO Max, from the same creators of The Wire. And then I have my documentary, Undeniable, the Trey Chaney story, which is on Tubi right now. And it captures me, you know, coming into this business, getting casted for The Wire. But after The Wire ended in 2008, I found myself, you know, having to rebrand my whole situation, my company. And, you know, even if that meant hustling every day, standing on the corners of Washington, D.C., which is where I'm from, selling merchandise out of my own trunk, you know, just to rebrand my name and build up a fan base. And that continued for a number of years. So it's a documentary about never giving up on your dream. That's what it all boils down to, and never, you know, staying consistent and making sure that you stay on point. And then Saints and Sinners is on Bounce TV. I'm a series regular, 6 seasons later on that. People could catch Saints and Sinners, the first 5 seasons, on Hulu right now. You can watch it, and it's an amazing show. And yeah, man, just, you know, really pushing my independent brand and still promoting all of the mainstream stuff, like We Need to Talk and We Own This City, and, you know, and we're just out here just pushing.
That is awesome. And that documentary sounds fascinating. I definitely want to check that out, because, you know, I think people think like you were in a big show, like you had made it, like that was it. You were golden. It sounds like it was great for your career. It must have been fantastic, but it also is like, once that ends, it's like that's a period in your life that's over. And like, well, what do I do now? Like
yeah,
do I stay in that character? Do I branch out? Like,
right.
I don't know.
That's exactly what the documentary is about. And people literally are walking away from after watching it saying, man, I was having a bad day and you made me feel like that I can accomplish anything because you never gave up. And that was my purpose for putting it out. It's like, we live in a world today, it's a lot of negativity, it's a lot of doubt. And, you know, people are trying to be validated by somebody else's opinion. It's like, look, stick to what you know. As long as it's positive, as long as you keep going, you can achieve anything in life. Yep. That's it. So, Undeniable, the Trey Chaney story. And I call it, you know, chapter 1, because I'm still documenting my life. I'm still documenting highlights and great moments. And, you know, I want people to check this thing out on Tubi. It's an amazing documentary that you will love.
Definitely check that out. I can't wait for the 2nd season when you start your like MLG pro gaming tour. Like that'll be exciting too.
Exactly.
So you can check that out on Tubi, and also check out We Need to Talk, available digitally anywhere you rent or buy movies. It is like I said, it's an interesting documentary. I love the gaming aspects. I love the characters. I love that it has like rom-com and gaming moments. I loved it. It might have been a little painful for my wife to see, because she's like, this feels very this feels a little too close to home, but I really like it. So this is Trey Chaney. Thank you so much for talking.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
That was Trey Chaney talking about We Need to Talk, which came out on May 13, 2022. It's a video game / online gaming based rom-com that has a ton of video game references and a fun story. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.